This episode of GMK is brought to you by Devil's Cap Marina, located at the end of Matheson Bay Road on beautiful Lake of the Woods and open all year round.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Kenora.
Welcome to a wonderful Wednesday.
It is.
Wonderful Wednesday with the return of the mighty and awesome Jack Dawson.
Look how fast Jeff is. You got my name key on. Whoa, name key on there.
Yeah, just done.
It's a beautiful day outside.
It really is.
Finally.
Oh, thank God.
Let's declare this the beginning of the long weekend.
I think so. I think this is kind of like where everybody can just, you know what, take your long weekend now.
We have the power in TV to do whatever we want. Whatever we say is true.
Absolutely. Fox News does it all the time. We can do it too.
Let's have a look at weather.
The Good Morning Kenora weather is brought to you by Casey's Grill and Bar. A high of 19 today with a low of 4 and beautiful, beautiful sun. Tomorrow, a high of 15, a low of 4 with more sunshine, which is fabulous. And then Friday, because it's a short week, a high of 16 and a low of 5, more sun. So this is officially your long weekend.
Do we have a long range? Do we know what I did the weather this morning. I don't remember what Friday or Saturday, Sunday's supposed to be.
I know you haven't been around for a little while, but we don't like to spoil the surprise. We don't want to spoil the surprise.
Well, la-ti-da.
But speaking of surprises and the weather, a lot of chaos has happened because of the weather.
Yes.
The Kenwood roof collapsed.
I heard that.
Yeah, like the front awning collapsed.
And thankfully no injuries.
Thankfully. And then I found out this morning, this is probably a little bit old, a sinkhole.
Oh, out by Dryden.
Out by Dryden.
Did you see that picture?
Yes. Unbelievable. This giant sinkhole kind of actually just swallowed the road. Truck nose in. Nobody was injured again, but I mean, it just, goodbye road.
Yeah, we were talking about that this morning on how it wasn't more serious because it's a highway. So the person would have been cruising, unless I guess they saw it hit the brakes.
Well, yeah.
We need to be investigative to see if there's skid marks leading into the sinkhole.
It's very true, eh?
Yeah.
So, but it's there's lots of stuff. I know on the weekend my kids were visiting relatives and family and stuff, and they said during the windstorm that the shingles were pulling off their roof.
Well, the sign out by the bistro in Keewatin is blown out. The funeral home sign blew off.
Yeah.
Like thoughts. And there was that unfortunate fire due to the wind, I believe, the poor two families lost their homes there. So I'm trying to find out some more details. I talked to somebody last night. We don't know where to send any donations to help out the families. We will have something hopefully by tomorrow where to send stuff because they're literally homeless. The question was, where can we send stuff to help? And her answer was, that was my house. There is nowhere.
Yeah,
so we're looking for somewhere to collect and donate for them. So that's a big thing. Then the big fire over by A&W.
Well, yeah.
Do you hear the theme today?
It's the end of the world. That's the theme I hear.
I was going to introduce firefighter Fred, but
I was
Kenora Fire Services, and I see some props here.
Yeah.
The guys aren't having breakfast this morning because Fred brought all the frying pans in.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about kitchen and cooking safety because you know what? All too often, you're cooking and then something comes up and you leave the room.
Or you have kids or anything for that matter. Absolutely.
So Fred's going to be here talking a little bit about some things you can do, some fire safety.
Ralko, correct?
Ralko, yeah.
Fred Ralko. So he's going to join us in a few minutes. Very important show today. Make sure you pay attention. And, I have to brag.
He has to brag, so this is a big...
I'm official. So I said, if this thing goes off today during the show, I'm out of here.
And by official, what Jack means is he's official auxiliary volunteer fireman.
Mackenzie Clearwater.
Yeah.
It was last night. Was my got to go out on the boat. We'll talk more about it with the guys later. But the how far this haul covers is huge. Like I was like it's gonna an hour to get somewhere.
Yeah, it's
just because it's from basically Mackenzie Clearwater to the border.
Wow.
And then it's to the water, and then it's like 5 clicks in or 3 clicks or something like that into the water as well. For cod. It's just, we're going to get some of the guys in here from Mackenzie Clearwater later on.
We can get some clarification from
you ask them to come help, and they're all like, nope. Because they're all volunteers, right? They don't have to say yes.
Yes. Except for Jack's dying for his pager to go off right now.
No, I'm not, because that would mean misfortune. I don't mind false alarms. There was actually, it went off this morning, and I'm like, but it wasn't. It was just listening.
Kind of like being an expected father all over again.
That's nothing like that, but whatever. So we should probably take a quick break. Or do you want to do baseball scores? Or do you want to do it after?
Well, let's do a little bit of this baseball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Northern Harbor beat the Steelers last night. And that's in ladies slow pitch. That's in Days Inn ladies slow pitch. As well, Murray's Upholstery upset GNR, otherwise known as Guns N' Roses.
I hear baseball's doing really well. It's going in full swing. There's lots of people out and playing. I know I've lost a few of my friends to the baseball season. It's like, do you want to hang out? Do you barbecue? And they're like, yeah, baseball. So
Baseball, ball hockey, soccer. What else? There's like roller derby, fishing.
Yeah, there's tons. It's 'tis the season. Enjoy your long weekend.
We were out in the boat last night.
Yeah.
It was beautiful out there last night. We didn't see a single boat.
Really, eh?
It surprised me. I guess just is this really a late season, getting boats in?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think
Is
it
it?
is.
Okay.
Well, I was talking to some of the folks. I mean, Greg from Woodlake and stuff, and he said everything's just so slow to get into. But now it's happening. It's like everyone's rushing to do it, but there was a period where it's just too slow.
That's same with Steve at Hardware Company. He was talking, and he's just saying, like, May's killing him.
Yeah.
Like, he's half of what he was last year. So we're hoping that June picks up for everybody in town.
Absolutely.
And doubles what they're used to.
And I know a lot of people, I mean, still with the weird playoffs, NHL playoffs, I mean, that does actually impact because I know people are actually
Still watching.
still playing.
Well, the main series, which is the Kings, is tied up 2-2 now. They lost last night.
I saw that.
I think Detroit, I'm watching that, and
Really?
I wouldn't want to play them.
No.
So
They're pretty solid. I still think Chicago's going to be the end. I think Chicago's got to...
it's Detroit's beating them like 3-0 right now.
I don't know what I'm talking
I
about.
know, I'm talking to a soccer player, whatever.
I'm just throwing team names out. The Wild, they're going to do really... Oh, wait.
What team can I say that'll rile them up? That's all you're thinking, right?
Yeah.
I know.
That's exactly... Team closest to Toronto.
So let's do a quick break.
Absolutely.
I know Fred, actually, I think you're stuck here now. Yeah. The boys had to get called.
So he's got all the time in the world, folks.
So we're going to take a quick break, and Fred Ralko from the Kenora Fire Services will be here to talk kitchen fire safety.
Yes.
Manageable fire. I check my extinguisher, it's pressurized, I'm in the green. I pull my pin, I can give it a little twist to get rid of that safety. I'm going to get the nozzle out, I'm going to aim it, I'm going to test it just to make sure it works. There we go. And as I approach it, I'm squeezing, aiming, and sweeping.
And so I'm pulling the pin, lifting this nozzle, and I'm walking towards it and sweeping.
What a sweeper!
Good. And it's out.
Right
Exactly.
away.
Good job.
Round of applause for that guy.
Good job,
I'm a
Matt.
fireman.
Pull the pin, aim. Like the whole point of making sure it works is you enter that room that you have a small manageable fire.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome, Fred Ralko. How are you, sir?
I am doing fine, thank you. How about you?
Excellent. Well, as you saw in the break, folks, that was a little bit of a demonstration that the Kenora Fire Department gave us with fire extinguishers and how to put out. I do believe that was oil fires. So it was kind of, yeah, it was cool.
Class B fire, yeah. It's easier to control in our burn pan. We used to do Class A fires with some cardboard and paper.
Yeah.
Depending on the conditions outside, the wind blows, it's out of the pan, and we're chasing it ourselves. So we want to do it a controlled training environment. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So what brings you in this morning?
I'm here to talk about the #1 cause of home fires, and that's cooking. You mentioned it yourself, unattended cooking. That's the #1 cause. Whether it's telephone, TV, the kids, someone's at the door, people have a tendency to walk away from the stove when they're cooking, or microwave, or barbecue.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think about. It's like I always have a bit of a thought. It's like, you know what? How can people be so careless? As I'm saying this, my barbecue is on, and I'm inside talking on the phone, and I'm like, oh wait.
And you're the word, like, and then text messaging and cell phones have to be added to that.
Yeah, they are.
It's not just distracted driving; it's distracted cooking.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when basically I have to guess grease.
That's one of the big ones, yeah.
And the number one thing not to do is throw a cup of water on it.
Exactly. Your grease is usually high temperature when you're cooking. You throw water onto it, the water immediately turns to steam. It takes that grease and just throws it everywhere. So we're talking about what you should do. I've got my prop here, my pan.
You guys are all cursing you for taking their...
Yeah, well, no, that's not in use. So the one thing you don't use is your tea towel. Because what you should do is, if your pan catches on fire, put a lid on it.
Right.
That's, just like when you talk too much and Jack says put a lid on it. But you put a lid on it. You want to smother the fire, take the oxygen away, put the fire out. Don't use your tea towel. You grab your lid and you go to put your lid on it. The tea towel dangles. It gets into the fire, touches the element. It doesn't work good.
Oh, I'm guilty of that.
Pot holder, they work good. Jack has my oven mitts. They work good. Slide the lid over the pan. That'll help smother it. You want to take away the heat. So where's the dial for the stove? Usually you're reaching over the pan. You don't want to do that. Try to reach around.
Move the pan off the element.
Move the pan off the element, but don't move it anywhere else. There has been cases where someone's picking up the pan. Now it's heavy and it's wobbling, and now you've got this little grease fire dripping all across your kitchen. Some people think throw it in the bathtub. That works good because it's a metal bathtub. Some people think let's just see if we can get it outside. It doesn't work. You end up with little grease fires or little spots of fire all across your house. Put the lid on it. It will smother itself. Make a call to us. We'll come and double check, make sure everything's okay. And the same goes fire in your oven, in your microwave, in your little toaster oven. If you see it on fire, like with a microwave or toaster oven, you can unplug it from the wall, leave the door shut. It'll burn. It'll use up the oxygen inside, and it will smother itself. Call us. We'll come and make sure it's out. Better to call us and say you don't need us than to not call us right away and then we're coming and rushing because you really do need us.
Right.
And time, I think it was one of the past times you guys were on. Time is everything.
It is.
Because if you wait 1 minute to make that phone call, by the time you make the phone call, it's whatever minutes it takes for you guys to get there.
Yeah. And you sort of touched on it with Mackenzie Clearwater. They're especially in a predicament where distance is a big issue. So we always preach prevention, detection, escape. Prevent the fire in the first place. Attend to your cooking. If it does catch on fire, make sure you slide the pan. Have your working smoke alarms. If you do leave it unattended, it catches fire, the smoke alarm will alert you. So there's your detection. And then if you do have a fire, just leave it, get out, escape, have an escape plan, and make sure your whole family knows about it. Have a meeting place. It's just like school. It all goes back to when you're a kid. And that's one of the things I found through the years as being a firefighter. What we teach to different age groups is all the same message. It's just a different format.
But you really do forget about it.
You do.
And it's terrible. I mean, you hear Warren was in here about a month ago with that tragedy in Southern Ontario. And I went home and we bought all brand new smoke detectors and changed the batteries. And it's like I needed that kick in the butt to do it. And we shouldn't. It should be part of setting your clock back, which is a great campaign.
Yep.
You get complacent though, right? I mean, that's kind of the thing.
It
You
is.
put it up and you forget about it, you get complacent, and then next thing you know, something's happening.
Well, our house is all just cedar. Like, it's just wood. So if it goes, it's going to be quick. So being prepared, adding I put a fourth smoke detector in the house now.
Yeah.
Just because now I'm nervous about it because of all not nervous, but just how fast it goes.
Yeah, with my house side, same thing. We've been there, and it was getting to be 10 years, time to change the smoke detectors. So I did get a bit of money back last year on my tax return, so I figured, you know what I can do? Now they have interconnected wireless smoke alarms.
Oh, wow.
So as opposed to being hardwired throughout your house, they're battery operated. You set all the little buttons inside, like your garage door opener, and as long as they're all the same and they're within, I think it's 75 feet, if one goes off, they all go off.
Oh, nice.
That's really
Yeah.
good.
That's...
And that's especially important if you have a two-story house. You have something happening in the basement, the smoke alarm goes off. If you're sleeping on the second floor, are you going to hear it?
Right.
If they're interconnected, it sends that wireless signal and it'll set off all the alarms in the house.
Oh, thanks, Fred. Now I'm going to have to go get those.
Yeah. It's like you say, when you do have a fire, it's tragedy. You're going to lose possessions, and you don't want to lose a life for sure.
Right.
So early detection is a big thing.
So what is your, so somebody calls, what's your average response time?
Well, there is a,
In town, like I'm just saying, just in,
in town, we're around 5 minutes, plus or minus.
So people should try kind of keep that in mind too. It's like, you know, if you, it's like, oh, I got a little bit of an accident on the stove, and they should maybe 5 minutes. But a lot can happen in that time. So as soon as they call, they should.
They used to say fires used to double every minute, and now it's sort of, it's exponentially they grow because of the different materials the houses are made of now. It's not the cotton and wool couches, it's the fibers, it's all plastics. It's like solid gasoline. It starts to melt and it burns. We're finding flashover when all the contents in a room ignite is a lot sooner than it used to be. And so yeah, you have to move quickly. And that's, you know, it's when there are fire deaths, it's because people don't react right away. How many times have you been in a building and the fire alarm goes off and people are still wandering around until they smell smoke? Well, Jesus, maybe it is real. I have to move.
Yeah.
Hey, get out.
That's a really good point too, because I know a lot of the time you do hear that smoke alarm, and I mean, I remember doing it in school a couple of times. You hear it and you're like, nah, whatever.
Yeah.
And then even it's just a practice, but you're like, I find myself and other people, you hear that, and for like maybe even 30 seconds, you're just kind of going, is it real? Is it really happening? You know, you're not that to get right out.
Yeah.
We had friends last year camping with a big pot, grease, dry season, same thing, caught grass caught, set off, basically they had to evacuate the camp off a grease fire off an open pit in the morning.
Yeah.
And it was due on they said like the ground was wet, but the grease was so hot that once one caught, they couldn't contain it. Like they just didn't pay attention. They took it off or something. And he said by the time he got to the picnic table, turned around, it was like running into the bush, the fire.
Yeah.
Said it was the scariest thing he'd ever seen in his life. So it's not just kitchen. It's out camping or
It is.
cooking at night or something like that.
Yeah.
Too, especially now we've had some good rain the last long weekend.
Yeah, that sort of gets back to where, it's the kids stuff. We always bring out the Sparky's ABC tapes, and for every letter of the alphabet, there's a fire safety message, and in there's stop, drop, and roll. And we get the kids to do stop, drop, and roll if your clothes catch on fire.
Yeah.
So, we've had different adult groups, and we do a What's Cooking for Teens program, and we say, does this apply to you, or is that just for the kids? And Sparky, yeah, it's the kids and that. Well, no, it doesn't. Yeah. You're out camping at the campfire, you're doing marshmallows. What's your jacket made out of? Nylon and the polyesters and all that? It could catch fire, and it could spread. So what do? Stop, drop, and roll. You want to smother the fire. Then you get back to the stove, you're cooking. If you have a nightie or a house coat, I wouldn't have a nightie, I might have a house coat, but Jack,
That's
I
a
don't know
different
about you.
show. He's going after both of us here.
There you are. You've got your arm out, you're doing your stirring in your pan, and if your house coat or loose sleeves catch fire, what do? There was an article in Thunder Bay, it was a few years back. There was an elderly woman. She was in a housing complex. The neighbor heard her smoke alarm beeping, banged on the door, got no answer, phoned the fire department. They got there. She had had a cooking fire where her clothing caught fire. It burnt her. She ended up dying, whether it was from the fire or being elderly, the shock of the whole thing. But they said the kitchen sustained very little fire damage. So, when you get elderly, you don't want to drop to the ground, but you get down quickly. You don't want to hurt yourself anymore. But that rolling smothers the fire, puts it out. Yeah. So, it's, like you said, right from, you learn that message when you're a kid, but it applies if you're a teenager, it applies if you're a senior. All these fire safety messages apply.
And unfortunately, it's the same old, it takes a tragedy to wake everybody up.
It does.
And that's the scary, my cousin from 30 years ago was a victim to a boiling pot of water.
Yes.
And you come in our house and anything's on the stove, it's handles back burners only. I have a 4-year-old, so I mean it's I can't imagine what my cousin's gone through, but for myself, just being through that, you don't want it to be a fire that does that.
Yeah, and that's some of the hazards. Keep your pot handles in, like you said. You don't want someone walking by just bumping the handle. Electrical appliances. I was actually working one day. We had a call. This fellow had an electric kettle that should have been on the counter. It wasn't in use. He stored it on his element. And it was the style of stove with the coil elements, and the one has the vent from the oven. Well, he went to do some cooking, fired up his oven. There's enough heat coming through that element, it melted the plastic kettle.
Wow.
He actually smelt it starting to smoke and burn. It didn't catch fire, but so the potential's there. Make sure everything's stored properly. Cords are wound up. No cords dangling over the counter.
I have an old coil stove as well, and underneath the traps, how often should you clean those out? Because that's a potential fire as well.
Probably monthly, you know, depending on how much it gets used. You know, a lot of people use the microwave more than the stove. This time of year, you know, it flips to the barbecue, so make sure you're cleaning that more often.
Okay.
What else? What about barbecuing?
Barbecuing, same thing. Yeah, you know,
Yes.
and where's everybody's barbecue? Out on the deck, up against the house, or up against a fence. So if there is an issue...
On a wooden deck.
On a wooden deck, yeah. So, you know, if you haven't already, check your barbecue. Make sure the hoses and the fittings are all tight and clean, not degraded by the sun and the weather. Clean out all the orifices. Spiders like getting there, build their nests.
I opened my barbecue this summer, opened it up, and it was just sort of like, oh, 1, 2, 3, there's about 4.
Yeah.
I think that's on your burger.
We're talking about, and one thing we bring in with this What's Cooking for Teens program is the unattended cooking fires is, you know, you're out at a social or a party and, you know, Jack's out dancing, having a great time. He skips the midnight buffet they put out, so he gets home and he's hungry.
That's where you're wrong. I would eat the buffet and go home and eat.
Yeah. So, you know, you go home and you may have been drinking and you eat. Well, of course, the drinking as well as a late night makes you sleepy, and there's an issue right there. And, you know, we tell the kids, you know, we're not there to judge, but here's the facts. Drinking, drugs do the same thing, and it's not just the illegal drugs. You grab a bottle of cough syrup out of the counter or off your medicine cabinet because you're sick, and you read it, what does it say? May make you drowsy. Do not operate machinery or drive cars or...
Mixed with probably having a drink or two.
Especially, well, if you do that too. But, you know, it's just even the legal drugs. You have to be careful with everything when it comes to cooking. I was at a training seminar once and was told this story, and I guess they said it was fire chiefs just to make it more, to put more emphasis on it. There's 2 fire chiefs at a conference, and they'd finished, so they went from the conference room to the bar of the hotel and sat and had a whole bunch of drinks and everything. And on the way home, the one guy got into a car accident and killed somebody. So what should we do with him? Well, drinking and driving, it's bad. Lock him up. Throw away the key.
Yep.
The other fire chief got home, was hungry, started to cook, fell asleep, his house caught on fire, killed his family. He got out. What should we do with him? Oh, it's a tragedy. He had a fire. Let's hold a benefit social for him. It's not. You're responsible for what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's why I've heard the exact same story used with a different profession.
Yeah.
I get it, yeah.
You know, so it doesn't matter what you're doing. You know, you're cooking, you're responsible. You have to take charge of that. We always say if you are cooking, you do have to leave the kitchen. Take the oven mitt with you. At least it's a bit of a reminder to come back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fred, thanks very much for coming and sharing.
Sure.
Do we hit everything?
Pretty much, yeah. That's it.
Excellent.
Prevention, detection,
Escape.
escape,
Yeah, and they've
suppression.
they've added suppression now. They're trying to get sprinklers into everybody's home. If you're building new construction, they say it's cheap to put it in.
Really?
And it does cut down, you know, you'll still have that smoke generation, but as soon as you have the heat, that one sprinkler head will go off and control that fire. It's not like Hollywood where if there's a fire here, the whole building system takes off and there's water flowing everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a little glass vial that melts at that sprinkler head and it'll put that fire out below it or help to suppress it until we get there. So, but prevention, you don't want the fire to happen in the first place.
Yep.
Detection, if it does, you want early warning, and escape. Back to when you're at school, you went out to the playground, got accounted for. Make sure you have an escape plan at home. Make sure when you go to the hotel. We always say that with the kids too. Who goes on hockey trips, swimming trips, whatever? You're in the pool swimming, your mom and dad are in the restaurant having something to eat, and the fire alarm goes off. You're not going to run and try to find each other. You should have an escape plan planned for that hotel. You're going to meet at the car in the parking lot, or you're going to meet underneath the big hotel sign, or somewhere. So at least you as a family unit know you're safe.
Absolutely.
So quick question, how much time we got? Lots? Oh, we got lots of time. So explain why not to use lotion or butter on a burn or a scald.
It holds in the heat. Yeah, it holds in the heat. Run it under cool water. You want to cool that burn down, and for sure seek medical attention. It's just that, you know, it's like a fire. You think you might have got it out. You're not sure. Call us anyway. We'll come and double check. If you've burnt yourself, go seek medical attention. You don't want, you know, 1 or 2 days down the road you've got an infection. Now you're really dealing with something serious.
Right. Absolutely. And a creepy fact, I mean, it's like hamburger. When you start cooking meat, even if you turn the heat off, it continues to cook for a little while after.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yes.
We are same way.
Yeah. Brown beef on the inside.
Pretty much. So, yeah, keep running under water.
Fred, thank you very much. That was
Okay.
a quick 25 minutes.
I'm as bad as Warren. Good thing he's away on
I was
holidays.
going to say, we didn't say that.
Absolutely. I can.
I don't. Yeah, thanks for having us. Thanks
No
for stopping
problem.
by. And you guys every week or every 2 weeks?
Every second week.
Every second week. So we'll see you in a couple of weeks. And we're hoping, weather pending, we'll get a tour of the truck next time.
Sure, make a call the day before, and the crew that's on,
Be ready and
yeah,
be all shined up.
and hopefully it'll be sunny.
Perfect.
It will be.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll wrap the show up.
The Plaza is a proud sponsor of GMK and community programming. The Plaza at 125 Main Street South.
There are a lot of ways to use a life jacket. To keep dry in the rain. Keep your beverages cool and refreshing. It's even great for relaxing. There are many ways to use a life jacket. 90% of boaters who drown don't use theirs properly. Close by isn't close enough.
Welcome back, everyone. Very, very cool, informative stuff.
I was going to say very, very informative. So I'm going to say to Josh that this one needs to get up on our YouTube page,
Absolutely.
our Facebook page.
And one thing you can do to prevent the cooking fires: don't cook. Watch Good Morning Kenora, because you have a chance to win every week, every Wednesday, the Plaza free lunch giveaway.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
So,
Are we going to see it?
are you gonna throw up there?
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, so every Wednesday on the show, we do give away a free lunch, courtesy of the Plaza. And this week's winner, you know what? I like her. She's a nice lady. Nancy Tulloch.
Last week's winner. Oh, this week's winner.
This week's winner. Today's
Today's
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday today. Nancy Tulloch, congratulations. You have won a free lunch from the Plaza.
And Chris will deliver.
Absolutely.
We're getting like hundreds of entries.
yes.
That's awesome.
It is really,
That's
really
how good
cool.
the food is there.
I know.
I can say that.
Yes, you can.
I personally think it's good food. I'm not saying.
So, yeah, tune in next week again, because next week we'll be giving another one away.
How long do you stay messed? Do you get messed up? Like when Monday's the holiday, today for me is Tuesday,
Yeah, it is. It's a little weird.
but it feels like Friday.
It does. These short weeks really kind of throw me off.
Yeah, messing me right up.
So, yeah, because I kind of think it's like all the things I have to do, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute, 2 more days on the weekend again.
I know, but we're not going to spoil the weekend weather. We're only going to talk about today and tomorrow and the next day.
Ah, see, now you're getting it, Jack Dawson. Good Morning Kenora weather is brought to you by Casey's Grill and Bar. A high of 19 today and a low of 4 with nothing but sun. Tomorrow, a high of 15 and a low of 4 with more sunshine. And then on Friday, the gateway to the weekend, a high of 16 and a low of 5. So really, really nice couple of days coming out, which is good.
Look while you cook. Fred left us some cool little
You did. A little kind of things to remind you. So yeah, so it's going to be a good couple of days.
spatula.
Tomorrow's
Cutting you
show,
off.
really cool guest. Renee Martin Brown is here to talk about I Am Awesome workshop coming up this fall.
Josh Nelson will be here, and he's going to be from the Tourism Center, as well as the one and the only Dave Kane. He told me something the other day. He's retiring in a year.
He is. He's going back.
And we're going to lose him on the show.
We are. He's going back on the street. He's going to go. So
Rec Center meeting tonight?
yeah.
With regards to the
twinning and all that other jazz. So 7
all kinds of
o'clock
stuff.
down at the Rec Center. If you have anything to say about it, you want to throw your 2 cents in, get down there, throw your hat in the ring, and start and be vocal. Because once it's done, it's done.
Celebrating birthdays, somebody. It's just a number nowadays. Don't stress out. Happy birthday. You know who you are. And what else? Come on, I stayed away from it.
Well, it's very true. It's very true. Well, did you just?
30. No, I did not do that.
Oh, that's
That's awesome.
Josh is looking at us funny.
Josh has no idea. Do you know what that is? Nah, Josh has no idea.
We'll see you bright and early tomorrow for another fabulous show. Jack Dawson, thanks for being a special guest.
Thanks for having me. See ya.
Ciao.
This episode of GMK was brought to you by Devil's Gap Marina, located at the end of Matheson Bay Road on beautiful Lake of the Woods and open all year round. This episode of GMK was brought to you by Devil's Gap Marina, located at the end of Matheson Bay Road on beautiful Lake of the Woods and open all year round.